Hi everybody, this is Nikhil Sir, and today I am very elated to welcome Vinay Sir, and we are going to discuss a topic which is very close to our hearts.
Yes.
Because you have been all seeing Vinay Sir with his Swabhyamani Balaga, where he is putting forth an alternative idea of social justice, and in that the major fulcrum is Dr. B.R. Ambedkar. So we just decided that we will come and discuss Dr. B.R. Ambedkar and the habitus surrounding B.R. Ambedkar, sir. Sir, welcome, sir.
Yeah, in general, I mean, Dr. B.R. Ambedkar, not only from my own perspective and what I'm currently doing. So, in general, I wanted to have a conversation with you because you have been reading lots of books on Dr. B.R. Ambedkar, and we have been discussing together also for a while. So, recently also, I think there is a context why we want to have this podcast that now he is hailed as the architect of modern India, right? So, and then in Karnataka, I have seen, in fact, I also agree with that. In addition to Gandhi, there should be a photograph of Dr. B.R. Ambedkar on, notes.
Yes.
So, we see him coming in news. Again, then there was this internal reservation movement going on in Karnataka recently.
Yes.
We saw lots of Dalit organizations coming together. Then we have something called like right and left in Karnataka. So the right is slightly progressive, where they have got good education. So the left, who are left behind, and unfortunately, this called Alemari. These pastoral communities, those who are what do you call in English? Nomadic, exactly. So nomadic communities, they are not given any reservation, so they are clubbed with another category. So then also I was curious to know what was Ambedkar's view on these communities, right? ST and also these nomadic communities. And in Karnataka and all over India, there is also, we see another context, the revival of political interest, in bringing together all OBC communities.
Yes.
Suddenly they see a huge political opportunity, capital, in bringing together OBC community as a vote bank. Still, the political parties are reluctant to give opportunity for new leaders to emerge, either by giving tickets or giving some posts or positions. So that reluctance is very much there. So in this context, so let us start with the first context, architect of modern India. So what do you think about it?
Sir, I would like to narrate a very important incident. In March it happened. I was sitting in Harvard University, and there we had invited Professor Christopher S. Queen.
So why were you there in Harvard University?
Sir, I gone to give a talk at Harvard University on Buddhism and social reconstruction from the eyes of Ambedkar. So I have been seeing here, sir, in our room also there are a lot of statues of Buddha.
Yeah.
And Ambedkar's Buddha also we will talk about how his Buddha was a pragmatic Buddha, not like a divine or yeah. So we were having lunch with Professor Christopher Queen, and he narrated a very important incident to us. So he has been teaching in Harvard University as a lecturer. Now he has been Professor Emeritus. So he told that when he was in Harvard, Amartya Sen also was teaching in Harvard University. And Amartya Sen that time has released his most famous book, The Argumentative Indian. And Professor Queen, he read, because Americans, that they're very sincere. So if you are going to attend a book talk, so you just don't go to sign the copies of the book. Yeah, right. He read, he ordered the copy, he read it and went there. And the book talk happened. So Professor Christopher S. Queen, he asked one question to Amartya Sen. Sir, I read your book from page to page. And the title of the book says that Argumentative Indian. And from my limited understanding, the most argumentative Indian in the entire India, perhaps the entire world, is Dr. B.R. Ambedkar. And he has just devoted one line to Dr. B.R. Ambedkar. So why this? Because we know that he has written the Constitution of India. Amartya Sen, the Nobel laureate, he dodged that question and he didn't answer it.
No, I see this very much part of the design, since independence. Dr. B.R. Ambedkar was totally sidelined, and somehow there was an effort to erase him from the history books and memories of the people also.
Yeah.
So whichever parties that were in power, since independence, they have actually tried it consciously. But Indian society is something, you know, very vibrant, and you know, it is organic in nature, in the way that, you know, the progress it makes, the way it evolves. There is also this intellectual capital that comes, and then lots of new thinking, fresh thinking, and because of injustices, all kind of humiliation, there are people who emerge and, you know, look into history from a new perspective, and they look into, you know, the historical people from a new perspective. So that has been continuous process. Even in Kannada literature, you know, Dalit movement, for example, the way they looked at the past, and, you know, how the Ambedkar was uh, uh, revived in literature. So it is part of the psyche here, you know, prominently, not just in the Dalits, all intellectual progressive. So maybe that is the thought now people are appreciating him, you know, his contributions. So earlier, like we were having discussions, 1951, the reason why he resigned. He resigned again. He was argumentative, and he was full of so much of self-respect. He never compromised self-respect. Swabhimani.
Swabhimani. Sir,
Yeah.
that is
So he was like hardcore Swabhimani, right? So he resigned mainly because the government of that day didn't address the reservation question for women and OBCs,
OBCs.
right?
Yeah.
So that was in 1951.
Yeah.
Right. So today we have reservation for OBCs in jobs, but there is no reservation for OBCs in political representation.
Political representation.
I am somebody who is demanding that, you know,
Absolutely.
I want that should be there. Secondly, women reservation, right? So that is also still people are debating, and also so-called the regional parties who eulogize, or, you know, like, you know, what do you say, like, you know, make Ambedkar as their ideal. They are also opposed to women reservation, right? So in all these context, right? So how should we read Ambedkar? How should we look into his contribution, and how that contribution should be, let's say, used in the present context? To come up with, you know, new political thought or ideas.
Sir, you used a very important word. He has been structurally and consciously sidelined. Sir, when I read Ambedkar, first of all, again, sir, I come from this society, and we mirror that society, as Talcott Parsons says that these are the socializing factors. So I also was thinking about Ambedkar as a footnote when he is termed as what the framework, or let's say father of the constitution. That's it. It used to appear in civics book. And again, there was always a hate which was again spewed on Ambedkar, that reservations. But sir, my metamorphosis happened when I read his first paper of 1916, when he was studying as a student in Columbia University.
Question of Indian rupee?
No, sir. It's called Caste in India.
Caste in India.
And typical, sir, Caste in India, the name as is written, we feel that it's caste. So I just, with curiosity, I read that paper, and sir, I was shocked that Ambedkar is not talking of caste. Ambedkar is talking about women. A young B.R. Ambedkar or a young Bhimrao, Bhiva, in Columbia University writes his first research paper, and that to a woman. And he writes about an economic idea of women or the surplus women. So that, sir, made me think that no, what have been pursuing, or what has been put, or what has been thrown on us as Ambedkar only as a Dalit leader or only a marginalized leader, that is wrong. So then that series of Ambedkar, when we start reading, sir, you come to understand that Ambedkar was talking most about women. So take his first paper. In fact, he starts his career with that. And then his Bible or masterpiece, Annihilation of Caste, published on 15th May 1936. That also talks about women. Today, when the debate is happening around giving a woman role in the combat forces, Ambedkar has written in 1936 that if you really want to go for women empowerment, go for this. And he says that everything, so the hegemony, dogmatism, or the structural inability of religion and caste, it depends upon suppression and oppression of a woman. And more you oppress a woman, more you suppress a woman, more is the dominance of the caste, more is the dominance of patriarchy, more is the dominance of religion on them. That was something, sir, refreshing. Even I never encountered.
So what about OBCs?
In the OBCs, he talks. So in the context of OBC, sir, is volume number 17, part 1, volume number 17, part 2, volume number 17, part 3. All consist of his speeches which has given in Maharashtra to the OBC population. In fact, one of his speech, I could recall now, Ranade Gandhi and Jinnah, which he gave in the Gokhale Institute around 1942. He was writing that you told Pakistan or partition of India. So there he was addressing a crowd also. He took up that issue of OBC question. He said that just like which Kanshram later took up, जिसकी जितनी संख्या उतनी उसकी भागीदारी है. Which you talk about representation.
जितनी आबादी उतनी हक.
हाँ, yeah, yes. जिसकी जितनी संख्या उसकी उतनी भागीदारी. So they should have a political representation if they are such a largest community. Because our polity, he says that it's caste feudal polity or feudalist with a caste mindset. So we should have representation from the grassroots, especially the OBCs community and the community which you mentioned about nomadic tribes also. Again, the myths were perpetuated that Ambedkar never talked about. Again, they borrow from STs. He never talked about nomadic communities. So what they do is that they pick up one line somewhere else, they put it somewhere else and distort him. As you say that it has been a structural and conscious effect.
No, I also heard in one of the videos that he was also there is contempt for Dr. Ambedkar and his intellect also. So somebody was saying that he's not an anthropologist. Who is he to talk about the how the caste system evolved, right? He's not historian, right? In the sense that how they see other historians. So who is he to talk about history of India or Buddhism, and something like that? He's not a Sanskrit scholar, right? So how can we believe in his writings that when he talks about in Annihilation of Caste also he talks about how the Hindu religion has perpetuated or the Brahminical traditions, how they have done injustice, right? So there have been efforts to try to sideline him, but what I must say here is that they have failed. They have failed miserably. Even like for example, people like me also, when I was an UPSC aspirant, we hardly read about Dr. B.R. Ambedkar. Even you take the entire Bipin Chandra book, The Struggle for India's Independence, you hardly see anything related to Ambedkar.
Absolutely.
Right? You take all our school textbooks, NCERT textbooks. There is no dedicated chapters related to Ambedkar. Like freedom struggle means only those who are anti-British or something like that. Right? Anybody who was with original ideas and original contribution and the way we know that immense contribution. So that is somehow was not documented.
Absolutely.
And perpetuated, not given for the next generations. And UPSC aspirants, we were also not stimulated, to look into his. I don't see many questions on Dr. B.R. Ambedkar, in UPSC questions also. There was one question I remember, comparison between Gandhi and Ambedkar. Yeah. And we see this classic question about, why did he oppose that Pune Pact, right? So only that aspect of modern history we keep seeing. And since his arrival, like I think some 10 years after Mahatma Gandhi, I think, he came prominently.
From 1919 he comes from Columbia.
So since then his contribution has been immense. But why do you think, right, he was sidelined or ignored, and why this contempt for him exists even today?
So I will start from you, sir. First thing which you raised, that videos which perpetuate that he was not an anthropologist. I just mentioned about Caste in India, the paper which basically he presented at an anthropological seminar. It was published by Anthropological Antiquity, that journal which publishes anthropological papers. So he was a trained anthropologist, and this information we get from his courses which he studied at Columbia University. I told you, sir, that time I had gone to Columbia and they have kept what Ambedkar studied, which courses he took. So he took a courses on anthropology successively.
All his works were lost because he lost all his books and works which he had written. His thesis
was lost.
They were all lost in the sea.
But sir, he
rewrote again.
Rewrote again. That was the classic statement comes. What defines Ambedkar as? So somebody asked him, "Yaar Ambedkar, why you study so much? You will die." He says, "No time, no sleep, no money, no food."
And at that point of time, he was the most educated Indian.
Yeah, sir.
More than Nehru, more than Motilal Nehru, more than Maulana Kalam, like whoever there at that point of time. He not in terms of number of degrees, it was in terms of the diversity he had, in terms of disciplines, the mastery he had gained, the kind of universities he attended, all while having so much of social disabilities, that
No
being
social-
an untouchable.
Yeah.
Right. I mean, in that context, if we see, I keep wondering, again, as an UPSC aspirant, we are ignored. Now,
Yeah.
thanks to politics, again, I must be very honest. It
Yeah.
is, even when I built this institution, even when, again, it was all cliched, it was all, as I said, in silos we were reading. No, only after going and traveling and doing Padayatra in villages. So where I went to Dalit colonies, we call them AK colonies, then Bovi colonies, right? And then Tandas, these Lambadi Tandas and all.
Caravan.
Yeah. So when I had an opportunity to see things closely, I did around 40 plus grama vastavya, right? Staying village, and wherever we were, we were getting accommodation, school, Dalit homes and other stuff. So it was not all advertised market, but there, when you came in touch with the reality, right, that made me so much sensitized. Right, started thinking about it. I wanted more deeper understanding. Then the resort, was nothing but Dr. B.R. Ambedkar's life and his books. I've read few of his books. Started with Annihilation of Caste only. I read it twice to understand, because it's a very deep document. The Jat Path Thod Mandal and the story behind it. So how his self-respect, didn't allow him to go there, and how his self-respect allowed him to publish that speech as book in using his own money, and then publicizing it. So all these somehow in today's political landscape came as motivation.
Absolutely.
Right. So then we were having these discussions also. Now I see every political event, every political party wants to have a photo of Dr. B.R. Ambedkar in every function, and then a copy of Constitution. Right. But what I have experienced, seen is that it is all hypocrisy. All political parties, two dominant political parties and regional political parties. So it is hypocrisy. The way they want to, let's say, appropriate, right, Dr. Ambedkar, his legacy, his ideas, and use it for, right, the electoral gains, and the detachment, with the kind of impact their policies have had in the past, or the present policies they're having, the impact and the vulnerable section. So that gap is huge, right? Now I keep thinking about it, how to be not hypocritical, right, and use Dr. Ambedkar's legacy for its original purpose, that is to uplift the people. You talked about women, for women reservation. Before women reservation, it's education of women, education of the girl child. How to. I saw in villages, because of lack of bus, girls stop going to the schools and colleges even today, and their parents are opposed, in sending them to distant cities, even when they get admission into good colleges, and child marriage still rampant, right? So those who use Ambedkar, should have been, it was their responsibility, right, to address all these injustices. Right. The word justice is the first most important keyword we have in the preamble. Right. Social, political, and economic, and then comes the freedom, and then equality. Right. Fraternity. So the meaning of fraternity also I understood when I started traveling across the state. So the reason I'm talking about all these things. So in today's politics, right? In politics in India, so how do we, carry forward the legacy of Dr. B.R. Ambedkar? So there is a famous quote by him, right? So I have carried forward, in Kannada it is there, Ratha, carried forward the chariot so far. Right, it is up to you to ensure not to, so that it doesn't rolls back. Now, how do we take it forward?
Sir, as you told, sir,
in a practical, pragmatic sense.
So the practical manner, sir, as you just mentioned about fraternity. So I always think, based on the readings of Ambedkar only, if Ambedkar would have been then today, so he would have, we interpret as brotherhood. Ambedkar would have interpreted as sisterhood. I always feel that, because when we talk about women and women as being the agents of caste, religion, because our system has been very patriarchal and phallocentric, centered around males or the comfort of the males, or what Ambedkar talks as a surplus woman idea also. So today, if you want to really take forward, and the things which you told, which has not been theoretically it existed in Ambedkar's book. See, again, he was only one person, sir. He couldn't have done everything in his lifetime. And as you also mentioned about Caravan, now it's our responsibility to take it forward. And sir, as a principal leader, as you are also, and as an academician also I am, I always feel that we need to bridge this gap between theory and practice. Already everything is there. So as you also started with that, when women's reservation was given, so it was since 1974, sir. So it was been discussed in the committee, and now after such a 50-year hiatus, now they are giving it, and again they have put it for 2029. And whenever I also hear these things, it shows our patriarchal nature of the society, and we are not comfortable with the leadership of women, as well as if we talk about the Varna system, Shudras, basically OBCs, and Ati Shudra, though definitely they are not in the position of that. So Ambedkar always talk about their representation. So if you read his Lothian committee, which was around 1941, Lothian committee also. So he talks about the representation of marginalized, especially the Shudras, and as well as women also. So what I feel is that that gap needs to be bridged between theory and practice. And already has given that what needs to be done, what needs not to be done. And first step now we have taken that. And again, the opposition comes in the form of, it would be like a Pati Panchayat or Sarpanch Pati.
No, the question I was asking, in today's politics, right? For example, I went to Kalburgi, right? So earlier Gulbarga, now it is Kalburgi. The Congress AICC chief, he comes from Kalburgi, Mallikarjun Kharge. So prominently you see the Dalit population there. So one of my friends there, well-wisher, and he is a very active activist there. So they have this initiative, Mane Mane Ki Ambedkar. Ghar Ghar Mein Dr. Ambedkar. So what do? They go to a random house, right? Doesn't matter which caste, community. So they will gather 4 to 5 people, and then they will discuss Ambedkar's ideas. Right. This is something I want to do everywhere, starting with our constituency in Davangere. Rest of the Karnataka in coming days I want to do. Right. But for me the question is that today's youth, they don't read. Right. They don't read newspapers. They don't read books. And unfortunately, in rural areas, the quality of education is abysmal. It's very poor,
Yes,
and their ability to think critically, right, analyze things objectively. So that is also lacking, right? And you can easily sway them, through emotional appeal, good marketing strategy, right? Which political parties are also doing nowadays. So my question is, can we counter, this using these initiatives? Will they be able to absorb and understand, his ideas and his ideals, imbibe them in their lives? Because, for example, I'll give you, I get frequent calls from many villages from our constituency, from especially Dalit colonies. Anna, Vinay Anna, right? Sponsor us. We want to put a Ambedkar statue, right? All of them are unfortunately, it's not their fault, they were denied education. They're not at all educated, majority of them, they have this habit of DJ, loud music in doing function, dancing, and taking alcohol, and going for some normal routine menial jobs. So Ambedkar board may sponsor it. So their awareness about Dr. B.R. Ambedkar is the level that they know that Dr. B.R. Ambedkar is their hero, their role model. Now, how to emulate him? The best way to emulate him is to get good education. Start reading books, be swabhimani, right? Develop self-respect, stand up to injustices, right? Say no to oppression, right? So these are the qualities that they have to develop. So how to develop these qualities among not few individuals, literally masses, right? So this has been something because when you try to do this, within a village you have counter forces, right? So there are other upper caste communities. They'll come and tell, how they demean individuals, how they disrespect, how they also influence their minds by telling that, तुम्हारी औकात इतना ही है,
नहीं.
ठीक है, keep doing this job. And they will influence their parents. Why send your daughter to a distant place? वो किसी के साथ भाग जाएगी. She will fall in love with someone else. लड़कों को क्यों भेजोगी? You can become drug addict, you will be something. So why don't you just send him in, jobs here and there? So we see this thing, everywhere. So I've been thinking about it, like how to counter this, how to ensure that, these people get good education. One of the solutions I found, strengthening the school education system. But as an individual, I can't do much.
Yeah.
So can you think of any ideas?
Sir, weekly reading sessions of Ambedkar, which we also do in my hometown also. So there we take up short books on Ambedkar. So there is a publication known as Bhimayana. So they have brought that graphical representation of Ambedkar in local language. So we just gather the people, we come, we give them and we ask them to read. And if you have any doubts, you come and just ask us. So we are not trying to force that today we will do this in a strict, so that syllabus pattern type. You read it whatever you have. Let's say, for example, today we are going to discuss early life of Ambedkar. Let's say how young Bhimrao was. And in that, sir, how we have designed those books is that we designed in the form of Ambedkar as a human. Because as you told that, we consider them as a god. And a very interesting thing happened in Maharashtra in 1927. Ambedkar was alive. They celebrated his Jayanti. So Ambedkar said that, Maza Ganpati karu naka. Don't make me Ganpati. If you want to something borrow from me, borrow how I am living my life. Because he says my life is my message. So we want to present a humane Ambedkar. That Ambedkar was like you. Ambedkar also didn't like studying. But see how a metamorphosis can happen in a person with the force and impact of education. Because education will tell you what you have been experiencing is discrimination. The problem is that, sir, that consciousness itself is not there among the people. They feel that, oh, it's a divine thing, it's a destiny wala thing, so we have to do this, that karmic karma. So we are just bearing our karma, and if we serve that varna system properly, we will break it and ultimately we will get birth next time as a human being. This is what Ambedkar was against. So we try to, in one of the books what we do is that, sir, we have seen that Ambedkar loved cricket. So Ambedkar himself wanted to become a cricketer. And you can see that later he supports P. Balu, Paulankar Balu. So in Ramchandra Guha's book, Of the Corner Field, that incident has been mentioned also. It was there in our NCIT, but now they have removed it. He was discriminated as a captain because he was a Dalit, he didn't give it. So Ambedkar groomed him also for politics also. And later he then became opposition to Ambedkar, but at least Ambedkar felt that I developed a leadership from a other caste Dalit community. Second, Ambedkar was too much interested in reading Shakespeare that time. He in fact translated a play of Shakespeare and performed that. He was directing that. And that time Ambedkar was reading Charles Dickens. So he said that, Papa, I am thinking that I will read entire Charles Dickens because I want to write English like them. So that, sir, that spark and ignition, because you already consider Ambedkar as your god or Ambedkar as your inspiration. So let us give them in a simple manner how we can present, because the works of Ambedkar are a little bit, sir, you told 2 times you read. They're a little bit complex.
Yeah. So one problem that I've seen, whatever initiatives you mentioned, making a doctor, showing Dr. B.R. Ambedkar as more human. So from that perspective, one objection that comes from these people when we try to do is that most part of their lives, goes in struggle, right? Meeting the daily requirements of life, and some job, some salary, some income, that is all they want now currently, right? So they think that they don't have enough time for all this kind of stuff. That is something by denying education, by denying them dignified jobs. Somehow the system has kept them in perpetual backwardness, poverty, right? So this is something that also prevents them from being ambitious.
Yeah.
Right. So if they want to read English literature, there must be an environment that stimulates that kind of a library of their own, right? Books in their homes, such kind of intellectual exposure to such kind of intellectual conversation, either in school, somewhere, right? Even that is also denied actually, right? I see some districts not having function halls or Ranga Mandira or auditoriums, where you can come together. And I see almost everyone demands, we want Ambedkar Bhavan. And the political people, mainly from the upper caste, they fear that when you create such spaces, these are the third spaces that a place should have. These people will organize, right? These people will learn better. Then these people will question us, and these people will try also, contesting in elections, and they also want to become representatives. So this fear is very much there, in people who are in power. So again, this has been a challenge, and unless we give us them the true development, right? So that empowers them from all dimensions. So this is going to be a very big challenge, right? Unfortunately, our politics is myopic today. Like it doesn't substantially address the real issues. They keep talking about social justice, right? And but when you go to the ground, grassroots level, it doesn't exist.
No.
There is no social justice at all. So Dr. B.R. Ambedkar famously said, I think social democracy is essential, right, for other justice to work, whether it is political justice or something. So can you elaborate on that?
Yes, sir. The reference you mentioned, he said that on 25th November 1949, when we were going to adopt the constitution next day. He says that now we have got a political equality or political democracy, but what is pending is social democracy and economic democracy. See, we have built a building, but that foundation is on heap of dung. Unless and until we repair that via social democracy and economic democracy, this building will fall like a pack of cards. He said that was his very important warning. And also you mentioned, sir, earlier also in our part talked about justice, and justice also he writes in a very chronological manner: social, then economical, and then comes your political. So he says that I give you one person, one vote, one value, but these things are pending. This the government needs to, or the state, because he was a very big believer in the state, as you also said, that because he comes from the Fabian School of London School of Economics, so democracy can be brought by institutions. So that he always has emphasized on the social and economic democracy, sir.
So he was influenced by John Dewey.
He was influenced, sir. There were a lot of, so Professor Edward Seligman was there. More influenced by John Dewey also was there. And again, the Fabian School of Thought, because one interesting thing is that when Ambedkar was there in London School of Economics, he used to go and hear the lectures of Antonio Gramsci, the Italian Marxist. And he used to go and as a student, because Gramsci was very famous, and he brings that Gramsci. Again, sir, it's a poverty of our education system. We have not brought what Ambedkar was learning that time. And he quoted Gramsci in the Constitution also. So with your permission, I will quote. So he says that my idea of democracy is not the myth of majority. So my idea of democracy is what? Where the majority upholds and protects the rights of minorities.
Okay, that is again fraternity.
Yeah, that is again fraternity. So he talks about this, and he quotes from Gramsci's 1925 book. And this is what entire of his things, he's all training in Fabian School, Dewey, because Dewey talks about pragmatism.
So I think that is the more complete definition of democracy.
Yeah.
Substantive definition of democracy, right?
Yes.
But we see today, that is not what is
Token
happening.
democracy.
The majority oppressing the interest of the minority,
Minorities.
whether it is religion, community, caste, class, whatever it is. So anyone who is majority, not in terms of number only, in terms of influence, in terms of power, in terms of concentration of wealth, resources, opportunities, rights also. I have seen concentration of rights also.
Yes,
you distribute rights according to your influence. So I have seen that also. So again, how do we fix this? We have to fix this, right? Otherwise, this is going to turn into new feudal setups, within the democracy. And within political parties, we see increasing tendency of relying on one individual, centralization, total lack of internal party democracy, right? So when it becomes, again, in business, we see monopolization, lots of monopoly. and this monopolies we see across sectors and disciplines, like it is happening everywhere. So all these are anti-democratic or undemocratic, right? Again, in some way, some of them are unconstitutional also. But somehow the society at large, is helpless today, right? So I've been thinking about it. If society is helpless today, so whose fault it is? Is it the fault? Is our constitution is incomplete? That or if we say that the constitution is complete, if it is not implemented, is it the failure of the institutions that society is helpless today? Is it the kind of people we elected, the kind of institutions we created, whether it is political party or whatever it is? Somehow we see that society is not given a choice, and even when it has a choice, it is helpless. Now I'm so worried about the future. I mean, when you have AI, growing individualism, the disinterest of the people, in participating in governance, right? So what is going to be the future? Like, how do we? So what do you think about it? Like, am I right in this? Like, because this is what I'm thinking about. I may be sound as a pessimist, but because I'm constantly in the ground. So I'm traveling across Karnataka. I keep interacting with the people. These are the things they actually discuss. These are the things that I have heard from the people in their own local language, in their own understanding what I have heard. So when you put collectively, right? So it is a problem across India.
Sir, when I heard you, sir, I never thought, or I never think now, even now, that it's pessimism. So I feel that you are empathizing with the people. And you're just portraying what you have saw or what you're reflecting upon that. That is what Ambedkar also says, that we need to have that reflexive morality, which you have talked about. It's nothing but, sir, reflexive morality, which Ambedkar uses. And again, you told about John Dewey. So he borrows from John Dewey, reflexive morality. As you, sir, told, sir, when you go on the ground, I also feel that, sir, still that structure of a caste-based, more primarily a gender-based, because caste enters via gender, as per Ambedkar also. A caste-based, gender-based, a class-based, a community-based hegemony is still intact. And the system is such design, sir, it has withstood the shocks. Even after Buddha came, 6th century BC, even today, after Ambedkar came, and even today also, it has withstood the shocks, and it is now aligning itself with AI also, with whatever, let's say, LPG reforms also. So that's why, sir, sir, when we observe this, let's say, the trend of wealth also, or the trend of rights, which are now with certain communities, so they are still concentrated within that certain communities, because system is such like that. And Ambedkar gives the solution also, which is very radical. And I will not speak here. People should go and read. At least they will read for that in the Annihilation of Caste. But I always feel that, sir, here one thing would be very instrumental in future. It would be women, because women have been the gateway of caste system. Women have been the gateway of maintaining the hegemony of religion, and we are now seeing the cases across, because now I've been working with you around 2.5 years. Dharmasthala case also is happening, and any riots you see that it's the women who are first suppressed. In any caste atrocity you see that a woman who are being sustained. Any communalism you see that it's a woman who is being there, because the entire community's, entire caste, entire religion's honor lies with the genitals of the woman. So here, sir, the first big step I feel that, or what Ambedkar also talks, again, it's borrowing from him. It's about the empowerment of the woman, sir. And that you also rightly told that you're working among them. It's the education of the women. And that too, sir, the problem is not formal education. I always say in my class also, India is literate, but India is not educated. We have degrees, but still that thinking in terms of gender, in terms of community, in terms of caste. I was, before coming to you, sir, I was reading that S.L. Bhairappa's book, Matadana. In that also, sir, even in terms of people also, you're thinking in terms of community. And so this is not pessimism, sir. Ultimately, I feel that also, that if you don't reflect on this, how you will solve it? This is what Ambedkar also reflected. In some of the speeches also, you will see that he is too much pessimistic. In fact, in the Constituent Assembly, he says that I was used as a hack to write the constitution, and now this and he lost his elections in 1951. So this tells the way our society, or that forces or the power of this hegemony of caste, religion have been maintained. A person who made a constitution, he himself lost those elections, who designed them. So, but
No, in my speeches, wherever I go, when I'm addressing a political gathering or something, I keep talking about it. The system we are talking about, oppressive systems that exist, they are invisible, right? So you don't even see them, you don't even experience, you experience, but you don't even feel it, and they are highly sophisticated, right? So it is not like a conspiracy or anything, but what I've seen is that since independence, somehow these forces in their own capacity either came together, at their local level. They started building this, these institutions by first acquiring political power, political capital.
Yes.
Right. And it has become very difficult to, destroy. What they have done is that, they have made people subservient, in the sense that even those who are aspirational, right, they are dependent on these structures, these systems, dependent in the sense that, it is through their sanction, you get it, and then again they have sucked out all the courage, right? So they have created an environment of fear, right? I'm talking like, if somebody is ambitious with respect to elections, with respect to even a job, with respect to creating maybe some industry, or becoming an employer, so you have so many barriers.
Absolutely.
Right. So these are something that I keep again thinking, why did we fail in destroying these, right, or not finding out this. So this is some kind of awareness that I'm trying to create across wherever I'm going. I'm trying to educate people about these things. So Dr. B.R. Ambedkar comes to the rescue, whenever because when I am rescuing in the sense that, drawing the courage, right? Firstly, getting the courage, the source of courage, moral courage. The reason is that to fight these systems, you need not just courage, you need clarity also, right? And the clarity also comes from his literature, and also the belief he had in his own intellect, in his own understanding of the world. So that belief is also very important when you are fighting against a cause or something. So it's a work in progress. So we just wanted to have this conversation today. So it was wonderful having conversation. Any last few words you would like, because there's so much to discuss. I mean, we didn't discuss about the influence of Buddhism, right?
Also.
And why he converted to Buddhism, and also with respect to his ideas related to OBC also, like there should be another podcast regarding that, and also his electoral experience, post independence, right? So how was it? And also he created and floated 4 political parties at various points of time, and what was the purpose of those political parties each, right? Because each had a different purpose at each different time. And some of them made impact, some of them didn't make impact. The last one didn't continue, after his demise. And after his death, the West and the Ambedkar, how it has seen him, right? And we also wanted to discuss, his photo on the notes. Should it be done or not?
So Marathi also there is a song, Kiti Shobhala Asata Bhima Notavar Tayana Kotavar. The photo of Ambedkar with tie and coat on the note. How awesome it would have been. It's translating like that. But sir, I know that you will not like it, but when we were speaking, so you're talking about social and economic democracy. And now, let's say after the end of that, we are coming to the end. So social democracy, sir, you're already doing it, what you have been telling, and we have been reading the newspapers also, sir. It's not that that you have been doing that. And whenever I see you, sir, okay, that was my derivation of economic democracy. I always feel that the factors of production, which have been always traditionally handled by certain sections of the population, or certain religion, or certain communities, they first have to be taken over by the marginalized communities. And sir, whenever I see you,
So now again, like taken over, I think
taken over the sense they should be.
we should create more.
We should create more because sir, there is too much. Hai na,
Very
nation.
difficult to take over.
Take over. So you know more better practical on the ground. But they should be owned by these marginalized communities. I always feel that. And whenever I see you as a when I was also, you started the institute. I was a student of InsightsIAS test series. So whenever I see you or whenever I hear you, I always feel that Vinay Sir is a model for our youths. So you will not like it, but this is sir, that how economic democracy can be created. Because sir, I roam around entire India and world and all. But always, whenever I think about economic democracy, I think about you. That how
just a small grain of sand, a
sir,
small
but little drops
droplet.
make mighty oceans, sir. That is. But at least when we see you, we feel that this is how.
So this is all new consciousness even I am developing and I have developed. You know. So when we started the institution, I didn't see myself as a coming from a most backward community and starting this. And people started telling me this: how can one from most backward community can create an institution where it has become a factory where IAS officers created something like that. I didn't appreciate. Even now I don't want to appreciate in the sense that so these are like purely secular initiatives, but it has given me an opportunity to create more awareness. And so I remember giving free seats to Manipur students when it was going through violence. And then there was a time when government of Karnataka, because of bribe or whatever it is, they denied us sending SC/ST students. So I gave entire batch of SC/ST students free of cost, like around 200 students, free. That is worth like more than 2 or 2.5 CR or something, whatever it is. So I see this as an opportunity for democratizing and education, decentralizing. That was the intention behind the website, where all the free initiatives. So it's a work in progress. Now I want to do something in the political and social domain by getting into parliament or legislative assembly. So Ambedkar is the source, because I see. I mean, I don't know why I'm having the conversation, is because the motivation came only when I read about his life and works. He had 50,000 books, right? He Siddharth College, Milind College, now they are kept there, and he had read and he had written voluminous things, right? Who are we? I mean, not even 1%, 2% of him, right? I mean, there is so much to read and write and understand the world. And then coming to activism, the kind of fights that to imagine that time, when it was so oppressive, right? I mean, during that time he took the fight directly to the powerful people.
Absolutely.
Right. He didn't hesitate to oppose even Mahatma Gandhi also.
Yeah.
Right. So today we compromise at every level. Right. So even if the leaders are not even 1% of what Mahatma, what Ambedkar, easily compromise. Today's politicians, for small posts and positions, they easily compromise. At district level, at constituency level, we see in front of powerful people go and and compromise. Right. I mean, when I see all these things, see the uncompromising nature, that the huge self-respect, Dr. B.R. Ambedkar. So I believe even if it is going to be slow, full of struggle, I think world over we have seen such individuals and bringing some radical change in a positive way. So small way putting the effort. Let us see.
The feminist movement has, sir, as you told, they told that I'm small, but I'm complete. I will go towards completion. And you were talking about, just we are ending it with Mahatma Gandhi, sir. He didn't oppose, we have been seeing as opposing Mahatma Gandhi here. And there is beautiful Kannada essay written by D.R. Nagaraj also on Gandhi Ambedkar. We discussed this in fact last time also. So in the roundtable conference, sir, when Prime Minister Ramsay MacDonald was sitting, Ambedkar asked questions to Gandhi there. And Gandhi was mooting for dominion status. So Ambedkar got up. Mr. Ramsay MacDonald, can I ask this gentleman one question? So he said, yes, ask. He questioned the Mahatma Gandhi, for whom the British had made a lot of adjustments, saying that how come you're asking for dominion status? When I know that Congress has passed a resolution of Purna Swaraj in 1930. And on whose basis you're asking? Because we are also Indians. So this tells us that, just like told, na, sir, you're that big giants they are stopping you. And I always see you, sir, not again, sir, coaxing this, as a force. And Ambedkar always represented a force, and the force of pragmatism, that in spite of anything, based on his intellect, based on his innate capabilities, rejecting all the divinism, rejecting all the Mahatmasism, because he says that Mahatmas have come and Mahatmas have gone, but we have been still untouchables. In fact, also about God, he says that in Marathi, I will quote, देव जर देवळात असता, देवळाबाहेर कोणी भीक नसती मागितली, आणि मी जर देवदेव करत बसलो असतो तर देवा समोर मला भीक मागायची पाहिजे असती. He always says that believe in yourself, your strength. The conditions may be against you, but if you have the willpower, the will to succeed, that pragmatism, the force, you will always succeed, sir. And we as students, sir.
When you talked about untouchability, suddenly I was recently thinking, in
Yes.
Davangere when I contested MP election as an independent, took on the mighty people there. So post election, what is happening? So they are threatening people. If I am going to school, they are threatening school headmaster or principal, college principals, or any community which tries to invite me, to any function. They're threatening, why are you inviting him? If you invite him, we are going to cut all these, facilities, or, transfer you here and there and all. So, this untouchability has various forms, right? It manifests in various forms. And, these people who control, especially the upper caste community. So, it may not be in terms of, the way it used to be. Untouchability still exists, right, at all levels. So let us march forward.
Yeah, Article 70 says untouchability in any form. It could be in any form, which you just justified.
Denying an individual access to something.
Yes.
Right.
Yes.
Maybe to participate in something. I think that should also be construed as, interpreted as untouchability, I think.
You have brought that force, sir. But
yeah, a small work in progress. I mean, yes, of course, it took lots of courage, have taken a risk, but let us see how it goes. But I am very much determined. So the determination.
So that is what we see in Ambedkar's literature.
Yeah. No, he is the source. I'm not. I'm just saying it for the sake, because you need to draw inspiration from someone, right? Something. So fortunately for us, for our generation, so he still exists in our psyche.
Yes, sir. Definitely.
Thank you,
sir.
Nikhil. So I hope all of you enjoyed. Again, this is an incomplete conversation.
Yeah.
Sorry if we spoke really more. I mean, it just went here and there. It was a natural conversation born out of curiosity, and also I'm somebody who is trying to learn a lot. But you're so well read. About Dr. B.R. Ambedkar. You have presented papers. Again, we are fortunate to have you in our institution teaching kids. So, I think we'll have another podcast in the future. Thank you all.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Thank you.